Today, I'm going to talk about genocide, random killings, murders, abductions, and a terror state under the dictatorship of Yoweri Museveni in Uganda. Dictator Museveni has been in power for 30 years, and during this period of time, it's been marked by killings, abductions, murders, and terrorism for the Ugandan people. However, what most people do not know is that Mr. Museveni started his method of killing, genocide and terrorism even before he took power in 1986. When he was fighting the so-called Liberation War, as you know, the epicenter for this war was the Luwero Triangle. And because he was cornered and he did not have the local support, he devised a method of killing the locals at night, pretending that these were the then government soldiers. And during the day, he would come to console the bereaved family and tell them how bad the previous government was, when he actually had killed the men, particularly the fathers and mothers in the house. He was very careful not to kill the young men, because when he would come in the morning to pay tribute and give them condolences, he would look like the savior. And the young men, in anguish and in desperation, joined him to fight the so-called murderers and killers who had come and then disappeared in the night. However, we do have evidence that it was Museveni himself who did the bulk of the killings in the Luwero Triangle. And afterwards, they would have mass graves. Unfortunately, in typical Museveni style, these young men who lost their families, these young men who then fought for him, these young men who then put him in power, have not benefited from that war. Many of them are dead, killed by Museveni himself, either in the war itself just before it ended, or afterwards in covert activities, and for many, he would send them abroad and then organize for them to be killed. Those who are left in the army have been neglected. They've either been retired prematurely and they never got all their benefits, or others have not been promoted as they should in recognition of the work that they did. It is estimated that more than 2 million people were killed during the war, 1.7 of which were deliberately due to the covert activities and killings by Museveni in order to make the previous regime look bad. Obviously, these numbers qualify to be genocide. It's a pity that this has been overlooked. It's a pity that this has been pushed aside. Well, we need to bring it back now to tell the people, to remind Dictator Museveni that we know what he did in the Luwero Triangle in Uganda. And the reason, ladies and gentlemen, is this. We now have confirmed information that Dictator Museveni is planning another genocide in Uganda. He's arming a section of the population with deadly weapons, guns, knives, bullets, grenades. He's doing this because he's scared. He knows that next year's presidential elections, he has no chance if he allows the opposition to campaign freely. If allows Dr. Kiyingi to go back to Uganda and stand against him. And therefore, he is planning that if there is a mass revolt, then people are going to be butchered and killed in the millions. He has also set up training camps in the name of training more policemen. But these are selected people. Again, the aim is to equip them with the capability to kill en masse. This cannot be allowed to happen. Museveni has killed enough people. Apart from the Luweero Triangle, many of you know that Museveni carried out genocide in the northern and the eastern part of Uganda. The genocide, for most people that they know, is linked to Kony and the Lord's Resistance Army. What many people do not know, that Museveni started his method of killing and genocide just after the war in 1986, even before Kony surfaced. This he did by rounding up all young men in the north and in the east, and they would disappear, and nobody ever heard what happened to them. Hundreds and hundreds of them. And of course, with the Kony saga, he did exactly what he had practiced thoroughly in Luweero. If Kony killed 10 people, Museveni would kill 90, and then he would blame Kony for the 100 people who had died. All of you know that in addition to the straight killings, Museveni handed our brothers and sisters in the northern region into camps. These, he said, were protection camps. However, many of us know that these were death camps. This is where he killed them at random. He killed them with impunity. He infected them with AIDS. He sent soldiers who were deliberately infected with AIDS in order to cause havoc, to rape the women, to rape the girls, and infect them with HIV. So if you did not die from a bullet, you died from HIV. Not only that, many of you know that there was this scorch policy where he would burn whole villages. His excuse was he was destroying the food that feeds the rebels. But the real reason was he was destroying the northern part of Uganda, killing the people, and causing famine and destruction in order to starve them to death. Ladies and gentlemen, what happened in the north, all of us know. More than 2 million people again were wiped out. Can we allow this to happen again? Because Mr. Museveni is bent on staying in power, even though the country, the people have told them he should go? Can the whole world keep quiet and pay a blind eye when Museveni is planning genocide? I have not talked about the Rwanda genocide, and there are many questions about the involvement of Dictator Museveni in this genocide. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot let this happen. And every Ugandan must stand up. Every Ugandan must come out to support the liberation of our country. And if you want Uganda to be known as a country again, then this is the time. I appeal to you to join me, and the time is now, not only to liberate Uganda, but to prevent another genocide in Uganda. Museveni must go. God bless you all.